Good evening, folks, and a very warm welcome to you, and thank you for tuning in to the Geelong Region Soccer Show yet again. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and I'll be with you over the next hour or so. And we've got a great show on tonight. We've got two clubs. We're featuring two clubs who are seeking promotion and are well and truly in the promotion hunt. We'll hear from JAKE Talevski. He's the defender, the central defender from the Geelong Soccer Club, who are doing very well in State League One, in equal second spot. Third because of a slightly inferior goal difference, but they are in form. They've won their last 4 games, including the big Geelong derby on Saturday night against Corio at Stead Park. And we'll look at that both in the news desk section of our show tonight, but also we'll be speaking to Jake a little bit later on in the program. We're also catching up with an icon of the Deakin Ducks Football Club. He's a committee member. He's also a long-term, well, I could almost say he's a veteran. He is a veteran, 200 games plus for the senior men's team. Troy Harrison. We'll be catching up with Troy as well a little bit later on in the show. And there's the usual heaps of news to get around as well. So it's going to be an action-packed show tonight, folks. Do not go away. We're going to straight away get into it. With a couple of words from our major sponsor and a big shout out to all of our advertisers and our sponsors. And tonight, obviously, the Gordon is our major sponsor, but we've also got business advertisers, Curva Coaching, Highland Turf Sales, and also welcome back to Harcourt's North Geelong, Joe and Helena Grgic there in Bell Park, and they are coming on board as well as for the rest of the year as business advertisers. So we sincerely appreciate all of their support. And speaking of Harcourts and real estate, today is what they say National Property Managers Day. So we celebrate the incredible work that our property management team do each and every week, day in, day out. Their hard work and dedication to providing clients with quality service is something we are so proud of and extremely grateful for. And that's Harcourt's North Geelong. Folks, don't go away. Straight after this short commercial break, we are going to have tonight's news desk.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the it's news desk time. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And as we do each week, let's get into the media watch and see what is happening with the local media. And this week, it's pretty much all just in the Geelong Advertiser. The junior sports section had a pretty much a full page there on the front page of the junior sports section last Tuesday. Kids have a ball at holiday camps. And it was a report there about the Curva Coaching Geelong camps that were held over the school holidays. Curva Coaching is also a proud sponsor of this very show. In Friday's edition, Barwon hit by training turmoil. It was all talking about the lack of preparation by Barwon. First of all, they were washed out. Second of all, they were kicked off their own ground when on Wednesday night there was an emergency situation and Barwon's ground, Grovedale Reserve, was taken over by the Victoria Police, who used the field as a helicopter landing pad for a serious car accident that happened in Marshall close by. In Saturday's edition, dazzling derby duel to relish, Corio relishing battle under the floodlights with local rival Geelong. It was a preview of Saturday night's big State League 1 blockbuster at Stead Park between Geelong and Corio. And in today's edition, dominant second half keeps the Lions' promotion chances alive. Geelong came from behind to record an emphatic 4-1 win over Corio in the State League 1 local derby at Stead Park on Saturday night. And those were the news articles this week in the local press. A little bit of a quieter weekend as opposed to what we've had in the last few weeks. But always good to see our sport getting coverage in the local press. VPLW, it's not good news for Geelong's highest-ranked male club. North Geelong Warriors are now relegated to VPL2. That is the second consecutive relegation that the Warriors have suffered after last year, getting relegated from NPL to VPL1. And although they made a last-minute effort, if you like, towards the end, they just ran out short. Leading 1-0 at half-time against Eastern Lions, courtesy of a Ryan Opperman goal. The Warriors conceded 2 goals in the second half, and as a result, they are now officially, with 3 games remaining, they cannot get into third last spot. The only hope remains, so technically there is a hope, is if the National Second Division does get off the ground next year, and only one team gets relegated, in which case they would have to overtake Werribee City, who are in second last position. This Sunday, not Saturday, this Sunday, in the third last match of the season, North Geelong travels to 11th place Kingston City, and that game kicking off at the Grange Reserve at 5:30 p.m. In the Victorian Premier League women's competition, Geelong Galaxy went down to Bundoora United 2-1 at home. Ogaki scoring the only goal of the for Geelong Galaxy. This weekend, Geelong Galaxy take on bottom-placed South Yarra at Hume Reserve. That game kicks off at 3 p.m. this Sunday. And Galaxy, at the moment, although mathematically still possible, it's still possible that they could get relegated. I think that they should do enough to be able to stave off relegation. Let's move on to the State League fixtures now. Clifton Hill taking on. They're the fixtures. We want to actually look at the results first of all before we move on to the fixtures. Let's look at the results. We mentioned the Geelong Corio game, 4-1, Geelong defeating Corio. Cameron Lee scoring Corio's only goal. In fact, that was the first goal of the game. Bruno Galvasoni, the Brazilian import, he scored a hat-trick, and Dennis Deluri scored a single for Geelong. 4-1 win means that Geelong have now scored 4 wins on the trot, and they are sitting currently equal second spot on the State 1 competition standings. Jordan Savinsky scored the only goal for Geelong Rangers, but it was a very, very important goal as Geelong Rangers came back from Paisley Park with a very, very important 1-1 draw against Altona East Phoenix. On Friday night at the Bell Park Sports Club, Bell Park absolutely destroyed Barwon. It says 2-3. That is wrong. That should be 5-2. Mio Marinovic scored 2. Mitchell Stosic, new recruit from Corio, scored 2. And Miguel Hernandez also scored 1. That's 5-2, not 2-3. Barwon, Christian Davis and Harry Waugh scored for Barwon. Truganina hosted Surf Coast, the top team, and it was Surf Coast that came away with a big win. If we have a look now at some of the highlights, Kuriyanagi scoring the first goal there for Surf Coast. It was an emphatic performance by Surf Coast. They maintain their solid lead at the top of the competition standings. It is at the moment an 8-point lead, and there are still 6 more matches to go. But a very good win there against Truganina at Arndale Park Reserve, 6-1. Milton Bailey just before half-time managing to get on the score sheet. The Coasters had a handy 3-0 lead at the break, and what a goal that was. Quite spectacular by Bailey, who just recently crossed over from Bowen Soccer Club. Straight after half-time, Truganina managed to pull one back, played on a very wet surface there at Arndale Park Reserve. And we'll just stay with the highlights for a little bit, but Surf Coast are looking very good at this stage. As I said, with 6 games remaining, they're 8 points ahead of second place Keilor Wolves, and a very, very good goal difference too. They've got a positive 48 goal difference. Keilor Wolves in second position plus 31. Then we've got Melton Phoenix in third spot with 36 points, so 1 point behind Keilor Wolves, and their goal difference is plus 26. So the Surf Coast machine just seems to be getting stronger and better, and in 16 games, 15 wins and 1 loss. And Humphreys scoring in the 88th minute after a massive Truganina blunder. And there it is. That was the end result there, 6-1. Let's go back to the Men's State League results. In State League 5, Deakin Ducks defeated Bendigo City 3-1. Allen, Wyeth and Millwood all scoring. And we will have some footage of that later on in the show when we do speak with our guest from Deakin, Troy Harrison. And Sam Wyeth's goal in particular from a set piece was an incredible goal. And our guest tonight, Troy Harrison, claims he played a part in that goal. Well, we'll find out what he meant exactly by that. Lara suffered their first loss of the season, going down to second place Gisborne. Oscar Mayondo scoring Lara's only goal. And Lara could have celebrated promotion and could have quite easily celebrated the championship, but it wasn't to be, and unfortunately they dropped their first points of the season. This week coming, round 17 matches sees Clifton Hill, who are in 7th position, hosting Geelong, who are in 3rd. That game's at Quamby's Park at 3 p.m. Corio in 9th take on bottom place Strathmore FC Strathmore, who are in a 12th position. That game kicks off at Strathnava Reserve at 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. State League 2, an important game for the Geelong Rangers when they go to Mill Park. Partridge Street Reserve, 3 p.m. is the kickoff there. Mill Park in 6th. Geelong Rangers currently in second last position. They've been picking up points here and there with draws in recent weeks. They need to get a couple of 3-pointers, and maybe, just maybe, it can all start with the big game against Mill Park on Saturday. In State League 4, Melbourne City, who are in 4th, they host Bell Park, currently in that should be 10th position, not 12th position. Bell Park is certainly not last. They are in 10th position. That game is at Edwards Reserve at 3 p.m. So Bell Park are in 3rd last spot at the moment, in 10th position. They are on the same amount of points as 11th place Barnstone Worth, and just 1 point ahead of bottom place Truganina. So at the moment, the way things stand, they're 5 points behind 4th last placed West Point. So the war is certainly not over for Bell Park. They need to get points, and it's a tough one this week against Melbourne City, but they'll be hoping to come away from Edwards Reserve with all 3 points. Another Geelong derby this weekend, 5 p.m. at Torquay's Banyul Warrior Reserve. 1st versus 8th. Surf Coast taking on Barwon. Should be a good game. Should be a great game. Under lights. Local derby. The form book always goes out the window, and this is going to be a tough game for the competition leaders because Barwon basically has nothing to lose. And this is one of those games you really have to be very, very wary of. In State League 5, Deakin Ducks, who are in 3rd, they take on Spring Hills, who are 5th. That game kicking off at 3 p.m. at Springside Recreational Reserve. Ocean Grove, who had a bye last week, they travel to 9th placed ETA Buffalo at Delahaye Reserve at 3 p.m. And Lara United, once again at home, they've got an opportunity to, certainly not seal the championship title, but they've got an opportunity to seal promotion. And if they can defeat Maidstone United, and if the second place Gisborne can drop a few points there as well, who knows? Could be very, very exciting times at Lara Recreation Reserve. This Saturday night, 6 p.m. is kickoff there. We've got, last but certainly not least, Women's State League as well. On Saturday, not on Sunday, North Geelong travelled up to Ballarat, to the splendid Ballarat Regional Soccer Facility to take on Ballarat City, and came away with a 1-1 draw, courtesy of a goal by youngster Anastasia Shimic. This weekend, North Geelong tackles the top team, the undisputed leader, Avondale FC. That game is going to be a tough one for the Warriors. That game kicks off at 3 p.m. at Alco Park. And finally, Geelong Rangers, they travel to Bottomside Greenvale United. And unfortunately for the Rangers, that game was cancelled because of the state of the pitch. Things don't get any easier for the Rangers, who this week travel to Ardea Reserve, where they're going to be taking on the might of Westgate, the top team in State League 2. It's going to be a difficult game, that one, a very, very tough game, no doubt, for the Rangers ladies, but they do need some wins, and they need some points to escape away from that relegation zone, that's for sure. All right, we're moving along now to the local competition, and let's have a look first of all at the Geelong Region Men's Division 1 competition. On the weekend, we saw Geelong defeat Breakwater 5-1 on Friday night. And then on Sunday, Bell Park defeated Surf Coast 4-1. Barwon defeated Lara United at Lara United 3-1. And Armstrong United defeated Geelong Rangers up at Myers Reserve 2-0. So as we can see now, Bell Park are on top with 20 points, followed by Armstrong United. They were the two grand finalists from last year, and it certainly looks like it is heading that way again in 2024. Making up the top four, Surf Coast and Barwon, followed by Geelong, Lara United, Geelong Rangers, and Breakwater Eagles yet to register a point at the bottom. This weekend, it's a battle of the cellar dwellers when Breakwater hosts Geelong Rangers at Howard Glover Reserve on Sunday. Game kicks off at 1 p.m. Armstrong United hosts Lara United at the Armstrong Creek Sporting Oval. Surf Coast hosting Geelong at Banyul Warrior Reserve. And Barwon plays host to top dog Bell Park at Grovedale Reserve. That game kicking off at 3:30 p.m. And on to the women's division. On Friday night, we had, in fact, all games were on Saturday, I should say. On Saturday, Deakin Ducks defeated Ocean Grove 3-0. Corio Bay hosted Barwon, and Barwon ran out 11-1 winners over the Cobras at Evans Reserve. It was a stalemate at Banyul Warrior Reserve on Saturday afternoon when Surf Coast and Bell Park fought out a 0-all draw. And at Lara Recreation Reserve, Lara had a 7-0 thumping win over FC Leopold. Barwon on top, clearly on top by 2 points from Bell Park, followed by Deakin University, and then Lara United making up the top four. Just outside, we've got Ocean Grove, Surf Coast, FC Leopold, and Corio Bay on the bottom. All right, folks, that brings us up to the end of the news desk. We're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll be speaking with the committee member and the senior men's team player at the Deakin Ducks, Troy Harrison. He'll be talking about his team's push for promotion in State League 5. It is the Geelong Region Soccer Show you are watching, folks. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and it's now time to talk, well, the chase for promotion. And tonight, it's our first guest for tonight, and he's a member of the committee at the Deakin Ducks. He's also a first team regular, and he's an icon at Warm Ponds, that's for sure. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, Troy Harrison. Good evening, Troy. How you going?
G'day, mate. I'm pretty well. Icon's probably a little bit of a stretch, but I'll take that. I'm much
Mate,
appreciated.
you've been there for a while, haven't you? How long you been there associated
Yeah,
with Deakin?
I played my 200th game last year.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, up to probably 10 years now or so I've been there at Deakin.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic, mate. It's an exciting time at the Duck Pond because the senior men's team are looking really, really good at the moment. And on the weekend, we had a very, very tough game against, potentially a tough game against Bendigo City. But in the end, you guys did very well, 3-1. We've got some footage there in the background. And Alan scoring the first goal. I think it was Sam Wire scoring the second. That's a goal to be seen, to be believed. We'll see that very, very shortly. And the third goal was scored by Alex Millwood, I think it is. So, but a pretty good. Watch this.
Yep.
This is a great goal. Take us through this goal, by the way.
Well, I mean, if you just look closely, mate, I'm standing next to Sam pretending like I might take a shot with my left foot, which I said after the game just manipulated the wall enough for him to go around it and tuck it into the corner from distance like that. So I do take a little bit of credit, but Sam smashed it in, mate. In the wet conditions, it was an absolute banger.
Yeah, fantastic result. In the end now, that places you in third position, 2 points behind Gisborne, but a game in hand, and that game in hand is going to be crucial. But, mate, potentially we could see two Geelong teams in State 5 promoted next year to State 4. How good of a State 4 is that going to be? Barwon, Bell Park, potentially Deakin and Lara United. We believe, Surf Coast will get promoted, hopefully to State 3. But that would be a fantastic division. I don't think have we had a single division where we've had 4 Geelong teams in it? Not for a while, anyway.
I think so. State 5's had 3, I think. So, no, look, it is exciting, mate. To obviously go up and renew a few rivalries with Barwon, etc. Would be great. But we're just focusing on what we can do, and we need to keep winning. It's such a tight league as it is. We're not getting too far ahead of ourselves. We do like to dream sometimes, but the job's well and truly not done yet. There's a lot of football left to go, that's for sure.
That is absolutely true. Now we've got Spring Hills coming up this weekend. And that's a game. It's at Springside Recreational Reserve, so a pretty tough game there. Then it's Tarney, ETA Buffalo, then Lara at Lara Recreation Reserve, Gisborne as well, and then Wyndham. So a pretty tough run home, isn't it?
Yeah, well and truly. The good thing about the league this year is the bottom teams have all improved, so anyone can beat anyone. Spring Hills dropped down from State 4. They're a really tough physical team who I know are mid-table at the moment, but probably aim to be a little bit higher. There's no easy weeks. Leading up to Lara and Gisborne back-to-back, 2 pretty big games. So it's exciting, but it's going to be tough, well and truly.
Yeah, Gisborne have improved a lot. They're obviously in second position at the moment. Hopefully by the time the Lara game rocks around, Lara will have already secured promotion, so they might take the foot off the pedal. But Gisborne, that's going to be probably the big game, won't it? That will be the one that will probably be what they say a 6-pointer, huh?
Yeah, hopefully when it comes to that, we've done everything we needed to do, and it is a 6-pointer. As I said, like Spring Hills is no easy beat. Even Tarnett, Buffalo, they're tough teams. Lara away at midnight on Friday night or whatever time they kick off is always a really, really tough game. They kick off late on a Friday, and it's always wet and cold, and it's a tough place to go and get points. So, yeah, hopefully once we do get to Gisborne, it is a 6-pointer and we're still there. But, yeah, there's a lot to do, mate, before then.
Absolutely. Now, mate, on the weekend, there was, apart from the football and a great win at that 3-1 over Bendigo City, Deakin Ducks had a very, very special weekend, a fundraising weekend. Tell us all about that.
We did. So earlier in the year, we set out to do a charity event. And this year, we decided to do White Ribbon. So White Ribbon's a cause for domestic violence against women, which I think is very important message to get out there. Not just club, but community-wide of what's going on in the world at the moment. So that's the one we chose. We tied it into our first ever Ladies' Day down at the pond there. We had 4 games, so Div 2 Women's 9 a.m., Div 1 Women's 11 a.m., Reserve Seniors. And yeah, we had a massive day. We had charity kits, we had charity beanies, we had a lot of fundraising stuff. We just crunched the numbers today, actually. Sam sent it through. We raised $2,527, which I think is, for a club our size, we're not massive. I think it is an amazing effort, and yeah, everyone involved definitely deserves a pat on the back, certainly.
Yeah, that's well done to Deakin Ducks. Now, we mentioned you are also on the committee. So apart from things like this, community events and fundraisers, which is absolutely fantastic, you've also started a junior section of the club as well. And I know, speaking to Sam Robinson off air, last year was the first year, and then this year it's gone real gangbusters. Like, there seems to be teams in under 7s, under 9s. Is that right?
Under 7s and under 9s. Yeah, I think if we had waited a couple more weeks, we could have snuck a couple more teams in. We had a lot of people come in late. But yeah, the juniors is growing. Mon runs the program with a few other helpers who, pretty much everyone plays throughout the club, goes out on a Sunday to help the juniors as well. Yeah, it's a really good program, really well run, and hope to build on that as years go by. And, hopefully one day have our first player that's gone right through the juniors, into the State League seniors.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And how are things with the senior women's going at the moment? Because it's always a tough one, isn't it? Sometimes it depends on the student intake of a particular year, isn't it? These days, you have a lot of, I guess, competition from other clubs as well nearby. But Deakin has always had a pretty strong women's team, hasn't it? Women's sort of
definitely
presence in the local league.
Yeah, we do rely heavily on students, but we've tried to build a culture that's very welcoming for anyone in. So when people come in, they enjoy it, and they prefer to play for us generally, hopefully. So yeah, once we get the students in, they sort of tend to hang around. It's a super helpful recruiting tool. Generally each year we get 3 or 4 through the men's and the women's who just pop up and play in the first team. Our women's team has been strong for a number of years. They sort of go from strength to strength to strength. But in saying that, like, I've watched a lot of the women's. My wife plays in the women's, and it's the growth in the competition. The standard of the competition just gets better and better every year. So, it's really, really good to see for women's football in the region, certainly.
There's the ladder after 9 rounds, and geez, I'll tell you what. When you talk about the calibre of some of those teams, we know Larry United dropped from the State League and entered a team in the local competition, and they're finding it difficult. They're in 4th spot. Then you got Bell Park, who have really been on the rise in recent years, and of course Barwon, who always is there and about. But Ocean Grove and Surf Coast as well. These are teams that have been in previous years heavyweights, and they're just outside the top 4. So Deakin there, 6 wins, 2 losses from 8 games, in 3rd position. That's a pretty good effort at the moment, I must say.
Yeah, they're going really well. As I said, the competition's so even. I think they played Ocean Grove on the weekend, won 3-0, but it was a really close affair. So yeah, the top 5, 6, anyone can beat anyone on their day. No, it's really good to see, and the standard of football just gets better and better and better. So obviously we want our girls to end up on top, but yeah, it is definitely great to see the competition growing.
While we're speaking about the local competition, the men, though, on the other hand, there isn't a team in the Division 1 this year. Obviously, it's been that restructure, it's been that grading, but they're doing very well in Division 2, currently in second spot on the ladder, and in Division 3 on top. So things are certainly looking good there from a depth point of view. What's your take been on the local competition now that we're almost like halfway through, or three quarters of the way through, I should say? Is the grading system, has it worked well in Deakin's case?
Look, I think the grading system has worked. They had to sort of try something, mate.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you do, you're never going to keep everyone happy, but they're trying, they're getting feedback off the clubs. And I think, bar, a couple of anomalies, the competitions are pretty even.
Yeah.
Our two teams, the Div 2 and Div 3 are going well, but probably where they needed to be in the grading. They would have struggled both if they got put up a league, but at the same time, if they got put up a league, they would have gone out there and done their best. That's how it is, mate. So, look, they're trying. It is hard with teams coming in, teams coming out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everyone gets a kick and everyone enjoys it. And it looks like the competition, the results are remotely, pretty even most weeks. Every now and then there's a blowout, but that happens at any level. So
that's exactly right. And by and large, as we say, it seems to be very, very well structured, very, very, very well organised. Mate, all the very best for the State League men's team this coming Saturday against Spring Hills, and for the remaining 6 fixtures or whatever it is. Certainly hope that we can see Deakin in at least in second spot. You can't catch Lara, but that would ensure 2 Geelong teams move up to State 4, and that would be absolutely fantastic.
Cheers, mate. No, it would be great to see, certainly for football in Geelong. And obviously Deakin have battled away for a while, so it'd be great to see us up that next rung. Well,
good on you, mate. And once again, congratulations on that $2,500 plus raised on Ladies' Day for the White Ribbon. It's a White Ribbon Foundation, isn't it?
White Ribbon, yeah, correct. White Ribbon Australia. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. Good on you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, I accidentally cut him off there. That was Troy Harrison from the Deakin Ducks, and we thank Troy, and we thank Sam Robinson from the Deakin Ducks jumping on at the last minute to help us out there after we had another guest, unfortunately, pull out at the last minute. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, it is time for our second guest for tonight, another club that is chasing promotion, Geelong Soccer Club, and we'll be speaking to their young gun central defender, JAKE TALEVSKI.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
And there we have it, some very, very happy scenes at Stead Park on Saturday night after a 4-1 win over Corio in the State League 1 local derby. They're a very important game for the Lions, their 4th consecutive win on the trot. And it's an absolute pleasure now to introduce our next guest from the Geelong Soccer Club. Defender who's really made the backline impenetrable there at Geelong Soccer Club, JAKE TALEVSKI. Jake, good evening and welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Thanks for having me, Tonchi.
Mate, phenomenal scenes there, and the conductor there, Romeo Pudley, are leading the charge. Geez, he's got a very unique voice, and well, at the moment, it must be absolutely fantastic playing football at Stead Park.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure playing it as a player as well. The change room atmosphere has been amazing recently. There's a really great atmosphere around the club. All the players, you can see, we're all on board with it, and yeah, just the results are following in line with how it feels in the change room right now.
Yeah. Now, Ante Mordic, the coach, it's funny enough, we had him, I think, on the very, very first show back, so it's now 20 episodes later. New coach, his certainly credentials are absolute of the highest level. And it was a bit of a slow start at the start of the year. Probably took a little bit for the boys to gel together and maybe to adapt to Ante's style as well. But well and truly, as we said, in the last 4 weeks in particular, but bit by bit, that's been happening, hasn't it? Like it was just a matter of time before everything just fell into place. And now that it has, you guys are looking extraordinarily good.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that he's implementing all of his tactics and footballing knowledge that he's earned from his experience as a footballing player, wherever he's gone, whether it be overseas or for the Australian national team as well. And initially for players, I think sometimes it takes a little while to adapt to what a coach is trying to implement. But you can see recently the footballing we're playing, it's not necessarily him having to tell us a particular way to play, but we're understanding the basic concepts of what he's trying to teach us as well. So bit by bit, you can see it's just becoming natural to us. And yeah, we're just playing while enjoying ourselves, really. We're putting good football out in the park as well. And yeah, hopefully it's as good to watch as it is to play for us on the park.
It's an interesting division, isn't it? Because last week, I think it was, Whittlesea United lost. Brimbank Stallions have dropped points. And at the moment, you're on the same amount of points as Brimbank Stallions in second spot, and Whittlesea United are further than that. But it's just one of those divisions you just can't take any game for granted, can you?
Absolutely. Well, at the start, we had really inconsistent form. We had a big poster up on our change room walls showing that we hadn't been able to string consecutive wins across the first half of the season. And you just see, just if you string a few results together, the results show. And for us, really, any team has been able to get a result against anyone on their day. And I think for us, it's really started with when we got a great result on the road at Whittlesea. And realistically, from there, if Westgate game aside, we've been a vastly different team from the team we were at the first half of the season.
Yeah. Now you've had one of the big things has been your strike force this year. Bruno on the weekend got a hat trick, and he's been a real revelation. The Brazilian import since being signed mid-season. But Dennis Deluri, he's been in great form. Who else? We had Caleb Mikulic at the start before he left overseas. Then we had Giovanni Colossi, the Italian, as well. He's been on fine form, scoring 6 goals thereabouts. So it's great having that target up front, isn't it? Knowing that when you go forward, you've got players there that can really, really do something with the ball.
Well, the benefit of having Bruno come in for us in particular is just that different kind of player up top where, especially in the last few games, we've been able to put actual pressure onto scoreboard pressure as well too. You see the last few games really, Ballarat, he scored the decisive goal, but he also squared up the second goal as well too for us for Ballarat, which the scoreboard doesn't always show.
Yep. You
look before, even when he's not scoring, he's doing a really positive impact for the whole general play of the team. Great hold-up play. Dennis is of amazing quality, and the funny thing with him is we haven't even had him for the last few weeks. He through circumstance after getting suspended against Whittlesea, Saturday was the first game back we've had for him since Whittlesea. So it just shows we've got a range of attacking options up top. Now you got the bench, the strikers, wingers getting subbed on, providing great impact as well too. You had Xavier Ryan scoring for us against Ballarat as well. Tomo has been outstanding as well too. He started again on Saturday. we've just got all the attacking options available. Gio's technically gifted. You can see with him, we've got all the options in the world up there.
Fantastic, and you're holding the fort in the back line as well. But mate, you've had an interesting story because you've come back from quite adversity, I guess, with some injuries. Over the last few years, you've had issues with your ACL, your meniscus. Tell us about that, and tell us how you found the road back from recovery.
Yeah, it was a really long and you can call it bumpy road as well too.
Yeah.
So the tough part of it was that I'd sort of started to break into the senior squad at the time it happened as well too. It was my second or third start for the senior squad at the time. And yeah, right on the stroke of half time. It wasn't even a sharp change of movement, but I was wearing medals on maybe a pitch which was maybe slightly too firm for. I got caught a bit inside. The Geelong pitch sometimes a bit damper on the outsides.
Yep.
And just through circumstance, I had a full rupture of my ACL. I had tears to my meniscus in my left knee, and also a grade 1 MCL strain. So initially, there was a world of recovery to come back from there. So for me, I had a severe injury, but the tough part of it really for me was that just as I was about to come back, I then struck issues with my meniscus again. I needed another arthroscopy to clean it out again.
Yep. And was that a direct result of the injury, or was that now something else?
It wasn't a direct result of the injury. I guess just the primary thing that you have to consider when you come back from an ACL is that you need to build your body up balanced.
Yeah.
So the rest of my physical shape was perfect, but I was just getting held back from returning to the park because my physio wasn't quite happy with my balance between my two legs.
Yes.
And it sort of showed, I guess, just through pure circumstance. I went to go take a shot in training, maybe not quite warmed enough, and it just felt a pop in there, and just thankfully it was my ACL, but yeah, my meniscus required further attention. And yeah, from there, as I was coming back from that, I then had excessive swelling, excessive scar tissue build up in my knee. So I then needed a further arthroscopy in September of last year just to clear all that out. So 3 procedures later, got to return onto the park this year. But
Gosh, and mate, you're only 22 years of age, is that right?
Yeah,
So
22.
You hear about young players a lot of the time having these type of injuries, and it takes a lot of mental strength to come back from this as well. And you're a defender. You're used to bone crunching tackles and going in hard for the ball. Psychologically, what did you have to do to get that confidence back so that you wouldn't now go in half-heartedly into tackles and risk further injury?
For me, I think the psychological problem for me just came from off the park, just maintaining, just ensuring that I'm okay mentally. But I think on the park, the minute I was back in training, just doing all the things, like for me to go into a tackle is second nature to me, really. So a lot of people always question, like, that first tackle is going to be one that gets you back from a long-term injury. But for me, I never really felt like I lost that. That's always been a part of my game, and that's been the positive for me. It's just I guess off the park, me maintaining my discipline and focus for recovery just sort of reinforced me that my love for the sport, because a lot of people after this, even just the second, let alone a third operation, would have thrown it all away.
Yeah. And do you now have to kind of, particularly in the off season, I guess, when you're doing your own strength and conditioning, do you now have to focus on doing extra or doing something specific in order to kind of like just to compensate for everything that your knees have gone through?
I'm doing it now throughout the season, actually. So I make sure I go to the gym at least once a week, just to, if not like putting high load through my knees, just ensuring I'm getting some extra strengthening and conditioning on top of them. It's been a bit of a characteristic of me, but I always do a few hops and lands as soon as I jump on a park. Cop some flack from fans from it at times. It's a bit funny. There's like a little spin I do, like a spin and land I do. But like for me, just as long as I've been able to get my routine together, and whenever I do those, I get a lot of confidence within my leg, and I'm good to go.
Brilliant words of advice. We're speaking with JAKE TALEVSKI from Geelong Soccer Club, who, as we said, is enjoying the fruits of success at the moment with Geelong Soccer Club and everything that's happening there. And let's hope that continues certainly until the end of the season. But the interesting thing is, you've also had, I guess, I won't call it difficult times, but you actually play under your father, who's the assistant coach there, Rob Talevsky at Geelong Soccer Club. Now, at that level, senior level, is it harder or sometimes easier when your own father's there, part of the coaching staff, or do you sort of have to push yourself double hard to try and just kind of not earn his wrath?
It's always harder. Whatever level you play at, whether it's senior level where it's under 12s level, I'd probably argue it's even harder at under 12s level because you get a few more insults which hurt a bit deeper back then, like for kids. But I guess it's a perception thing really, because if you're undeserving of it, it's going to be shown. But for me, really, I've always had pride in ensuring that I put myself at the best quality possible. But I guess the thing for me with Geelong, which helped, was that I managed to break into the senior scene before he arrived into the coaching staff. I actually had a chat with him before he took on the role with Ante, just to say, look, it popped up for him. But for me, I felt like I'd already earned a lot of the respect of my peers around me, so I could. It wasn't as much of a problem. But regardless, you need to work extra hard. It's a common thing, really. At the grassroots level, in particular, these parents are the ones who help develop not just their own kids, but their kids around them, and it's not something to worry about. It's to me, I've always seen it as an advantage because it gives me an extra reason to work that little bit harder, and it pays off in the long term.
It's interesting you say that because I talk to a lot of peers and a lot of parents, fathers around the Geelong region and wider who coach their kids. And it's always that common thing that, does your kids sort of suffer because the dad's coaching? And in a lot of cases, and I know with my own son, it often happened that you were twice as hard on them because you knew what they were capable of, or you wanted to push them hard, or you just didn't want to be seen like you were favouring him because he's your son. And the poor thing would sometimes cop the wrath of it because, and I know a lot of parents, or dads in particular, were talking similar type of thing. But now we're seeing it hearing it from a player's point of view, from a son's point of view, where you're in a situation where you've earned your stripes on your own accord, and now dad's come in from the side, but, it doesn't really change anything. If anything, it drives you to go even harder.
Absolutely, it does for me. I think it can be for anyone. I just think it's about having the right mindset for it. I see it as I said, an advantage in that aspect, but also an advantage of having someone around you who's been around the game throughout the years. Because it's one thing to have someone there, but if they've had that experience, and you're getting better advice from them as well. At the end of the day, you're getting someone who understands the game, and it's like having it's additional training for you, really, because you get that extra level of insight and you get that extra level of knowledgeability that you probably wouldn't be able to get, especially in the way Australian football is, where we're not necessarily a professional football environment. It's almost professional where you're with them 7 days a week.
There's no switching off, is there? Well, at the moment, the way things stand with 6 games to go, Whittlesea United are on top with 34 points. And then Brimbank Stallions and Geelong on 28 points at the moment. Still lots of football left in this season. And well, if Geelong can get promoted next year, we'll be looking at a North Geelong derby, the original derby, which the last one at Stead Park, I think, attracted about 1,500 fans or something like that. So if we thought Saturday night was fantastic, wow, that's going to be even more amazing. So we certainly hope, Jake, that you can continue this rich vein of form that has seen you win your last 4 games, and with 6 games remaining, let's hope that we can make it 10 wins on the trot. Wouldn't that be great?
It's always great to win. The end result, the season's the end result, but especially from our group, it's just we've really turned a corner, and it's just been a matter of us enjoying ourselves on the park, really, and just seeing where we end up.
Absolutely, and continue to enjoy yourself. Well done, Jake. Thank you very much for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. I know there's a lot of people in the chat that are viewers that are very, very glad that you came on the show tonight. Wishing you all the best for the remainder of the season.
Thanks for having me, Tonchi. I appreciate it.
Good on you, Jake.
Hi, I'm Joe Gergich,
And I'm Helena Fentella.
and welcome to our family here at Harcourts.
Yes, a big shout out to Joe Gergich and his sister Helena Gergich at the Harcourts North Geelong and the rest of the crew there as well. They've come on board, or they've returned for 2024 as a business advertiser sponsor. Speaking of our sponsors, the Gordon. They have an info night or a series of info nights coming up over the next couple of weeks, in the next fortnight. Information night. The best way to determine if a course is right for you is to attend one of our upcoming information nights at the City campus here in Geelong on Tuesday the 6th of August, East Geelong campus Wednesday the 7th of August, and then at the Werribee campus Thursday the 8th of August. Folks, that brings us to the end of tonight's Geelong Region Soccer Show. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Hopefully next week we're going to have a very special guest coming on the show. We're still working on that, but we certainly look forward to having your company next week. And before you know it, folks, the season will be over, so make sure to get yourself out to a game this week. And last Saturday, the weather was atrocious. It was horrible, but football still continues. We didn't have too many washouts around the region, that's for sure. So we hope that you can go out and enjoy some of the football action that is happening around the traps. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and it has been a pleasure hosting the Geelong Region Soccer Show this week. Catch you again next Monday night. Bye bye.